All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative and several development projects in Assam today. Civil Aviation Ministry issues fresh guidelines for international passengers arriving in India. India supplied corona vaccines to 25 countries. 49 more nations in line for Made in India vaccines. Foreign ministers of India, Australia, Japan and US to meet today to discuss free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. And in Australian Open tennis, women's and men's singles semi-final matches to take place this morning. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Mahabahu Brahmaputra project in Assam through video conferencing today. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of Dhubri Phulbari Bridge and perform Bhumi Pujan for construction of Majuli Bridge. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said, "It is a landmark day for Assam's development journey as the Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative will be launched." Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari, Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways Mansukh Mandavia and Donor Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh will be present on the occasion. Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal and Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma will also attend the event. More from our Guwahati correspondent.
Today's grand event of Prime Minister Narendra Modi will give a much-needed boost for large numbers of people in Assam and Meghalaya in terms of better connectivity. The launch of Mahabahu Brahmaputra will be marked by the inauguration of the RoPax vessel operations between Nimatigat and Majuli, North and South Guwahati, and Dhubri Hatsingimari. It also includes shilanyas for construction of tourist jetties at 4 locations to promote employment and river tourism. The program is aimed at providing seamless connectivity to the eastern part of India and includes various development activities for the people living around River Brahmaputra and River Barak. The RoPax service will help in reducing the travel time by providing connectivity between banks and thus reducing the distance to be travelled by road. Prime Minister Mr. Modi will also lay the foundation stone of the longest river bridge of the country over the Brahmaputra between Dhubri in Assam and Phulbari in Meghalaya. The 19-kilometer long 4-lane bridge will reduce the distance of 205 kilometers to be travelled by road to 19 kilometers only. Apart from that, the Prime Minister will perform Bhumi Pujan for the much-awaited 8-kilometer long Jorhat Majuli bridge. This bridge will connect River Island Majuli with mainland Assam through land road for the first time. Manas Patil Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
The Prime Minister yesterday dedicated to the nation and laid the foundation of key projects of the oil and gas sector in Tamil Nadu through video conferencing. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister touched upon the One Nation, One Gas Grid vision, adding that the centre planned to spend 7.5 lakh crore rupees in creating oil and gas infrastructure over the next 5 years.
We are developing a gas pipeline network to achieve One Nation, One Grid. We have planned to spend 7.5 lakh crores in creating oil and gas infrastructure over 5 years. A strong emphasis had been laid.
Earlier in the day, the Prime Minister addressed the NASSCOM Technology and Leadership Forum through video conferencing, where he informed that the government is trying to free the tech industry from unnecessary regulations.
तो विशाल डोमेस्टिक मार्केट है, उसका लाभ आईटी इंडस्ट्री को नहीं मिल पाया। इस वजह से भारत में डिजिटल डिवाइड बढ़ता गया। एक तरफ से हम कहते हैं और हम कह सकते हैं दिया तले अंधेरा वाली बात हमारे सामने थी। हमारी सरकार की नीतियां और निर्णय गवाह है कि कैसे बीते वर्षों में हमारी सरकार ने इस अप्रोच को बदल दिया है। साथियों, हमारी सरकार भी ये भली भांति जानती है कि बंधनों में भविष्य की लीडरशिप विकसित नहीं हो सकती और इसलिए सरकार द्वारा टेक इंडस्ट्री को अनावश्यक रेगुलेशन से बंधनों से बाहर निकालने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। नेशनल डिजिटल कम्युनिकेशन पॉलिसी एक ऐसा ही बड़ा प्रयास था।
The Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said the trade between India and US has grown exponentially, but still there is a lot to be desired. The minister was delivering the inaugural virtual address at the annual US-India Business Council's State of US-India Business Summit. The minister emphasized at a fair dealing in their engagement, adding that India provides an underserved aspirational market. He added that the US will have to be very sensitive to price points in India which matter to emerging economies. Inviting businesses in the US to look at India as a manufacturing base, Mr. Goyal said, from here they can serve a large Indian market and at the same time also serve global markets through cost-competitive products.
The third India-Australia-Japan-USA ministerial meeting will be held today with participation of the respective foreign ministers. The meeting will provide an opportunity to continue the useful exchange of views from the last meeting in Tokyo in October last year. The ministers will exchange views on regional and global issues, especially practical areas of cooperation towards maintaining a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. They will also discuss the ongoing efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, addressing global climate change and other issues of mutual interest. A group of 24 diplomats from foreign missions, including the European Union, will visit Jammu today after touring Srinagar. They will meet Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. He will host a lunch for the visiting delegation. The envoys will also be meeting newly elected District Development Council DDC members and representatives of social organizations. The foreign diplomats will be briefed about the security situation by senior officers involved in the law and order situation in the valley, particularly on Pakistan's frequent ceasefire violations and attempts to push terrorists into India through the line of control. The foreign delegation arrived in Srinagar yesterday on a two-day visit to the Union Territory to take stock of development work and the security situation, especially after the successful exercise of the District Development Council elections. They interacted with elected representatives of all political parties in Srinagar.
In our series on Union Budget 2021-22, today we bring you key announcements made to promote research and innovation in the country. The budget has accorded the much-needed importance to strengthen research and innovation ecosystem. There has been 30% increase in the budget for the Ministry of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences put together for the year 2021-22 compared to the last year. In her budget speech in the Parliament, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had termed innovation, research and development as one of the 6 important pillars of the budget. She announced allocation of 50,000 crore rupees over 5 years for the National Research Foundation to support researchers working across several streams of science and technology.
The National Research Foundation will ensure that the overall research ecosystem in the country is strengthened with focus on identified national priority thrust areas. To give a boost to digital transactions, I earmarked 1,500 crores for a proposed scheme that will provide financial incentive to promote digital mode of payment. We will undertake a new initiative, National Language Translation Mission. The new Space India Limited, a PSU, under the Department of Space, will execute the PSLV CS-51 launch, carrying the Amazonia satellite from Brazil, along with a few smaller Indian satellites.
Our correspondent takes a look at the significant announcements made to boost research and innovation in the country.
The budget has announced the launch of a deep ocean mission with an outlay of more than 4,000 crore rupees over 5 years to better understand this new realm, which offers exceptional opportunities in mapping, exploring and utilizing the oceanic resources. The budget also declared setting up of umbrella structure in 9 cities for building better synergies among research and development institutions, universities and colleges supported by government while also retaining their internal autonomy. This will be coordinated by the Ministry of Education and a GLUE grant will be set aside for this purpose. A national language translation mission has also been announced to enable the translation of the wealth of governance and policy related knowledge on the internet to major Indian languages using technologies. This year, the budget of the Department of Biotechnology includes a special Atmanirbhar package of 900 crore rupees for COVID-19 vaccine development mission. Divakar, AR News, Delhi.
The budget session of Uttar Pradesh legislature will begin today. Governor Anandiben Patel will address the joint sitting of both houses at 11 a.m. today. More details from our Lucknow correspondent.
Assembly Speaker Hridayanand Dikshit told that all preparations have been put in place for the smooth management of the session. All members of House, security personnel and staff on duty have gone under COVID-19 test. Nobody will be allowed in house without thermal screening. Media people will be restricted to Tilak Hall only. According to the schedule announced, the budget will be presented on 22nd of February and it would be the first time that budget will be paperless. All party meetings were convened by Speaker for a smooth running of the legislature and opposition parties assured for better cooperation. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
The budget session of the Odisha Assembly beginning today would practically be a paperless session. Speaking to media in capital Bhubaneswar, the Speaker of Odisha Legislative Assembly, Dr. Surya Narayan Patro, said important documents, including the budget, would be made available through digital mode. More details from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
With the functional upgradation of Odisha Vidhan Sabha into e-Vidhan Sabha, a number of documents that include Governor's Address, Budget Economic Survey, CAG Report, and on-start questions will be made available to one and all through the National e-Vidhan application, NEBHA in short. Accordingly, all the stakeholders involved have already been sensitized about the digital process in a workshop held a couple of days back. While the entire session scheduled to run till the 9th of April 2021 would be synchronized with the COVID-19 do's and don'ts, police have thrown a 3-layered security net in and around the assembly to preclude any unpleasant incidents and to ensure the smooth conduct of the session in general. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative and several development projects in Assam today. Civil Aviation Ministry issues fresh guidelines for international passengers arriving in India. India supplies corona vaccines to 25 countries, 49 more nations in line for Made in India vaccines. Foreign ministers of India, Australia, Japan and US to meet today to discuss free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. And in Australian Open tennis, women's and men's singles semi-final matches to take place this morning. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
In view of detection of South Africa and Brazil variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in the country, the Civil Aviation Ministry has released updated Standard Operating Procedure (SOP) for international passengers arriving in India. It will come into effect from 11:59 p.m. on the 22nd of this month. For all international travellers except travellers coming through flights originating from the United Kingdom, Europe and the Middle East, they will be required to submit a self-declaration form on the online Air Suvidha portal before the scheduled travel and upload a negative COVID-19 RT-PCR report. This test should have been conducted within 72 hours prior to undertaking the journey. Each passenger will also submit a declaration with respect to the authenticity of the report. They should also give an undertaking through concerned airlines before they are allowed to undertake the journey that they will abide by the decision of the appropriate government authority to undergo home quarantine or self-monitoring of their health for 14 days. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has touched 97.33%. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said, till now, 1,644,858 people have recovered from the COVID-19 infection. Meanwhile, around 92 lakh people have been administered the COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. In a media briefing in New Delhi yesterday, the ministry said A total of 91,86,757 beneficiaries have been inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine doses since the start of the vaccination drive in the country. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said that Made in India COVID-19 vaccines were supplied to 25 nations and 49 more countries across the world are in line for the vaccines. The minister was speaking at the UNSC Open Debate on implementation of Resolution 2532. Dr. Jaishankar said 2 lakh doses will be given as gift to UN peacekeepers. He also suggested the need for persisting with the vaccination drive, collaborating on genomic surveillance and exchange information, effectively addressing public resistance to vaccines and improving public health infrastructure and building capacity. Dr. Jaishankar said vaccine nationalism must stop and internationalism should be promoted.
A record 1,22,367 people were given the COVID vaccine in Rajasthan yesterday. The first dose of COVID vaccine has been given to 7,44,632 beneficiaries in the state. Details from our Jaipur correspondent.
723 vaccination sessions were conducted to vaccinate such a large number of vaccinations in a single day. More than 122,000 frontline workers were vaccinated yesterday. Most of them are teachers of elementary department. Secretary of the Health Department Siddharth Mahajan told that this is the largest number of doses given to employees in a single day since COVID vaccination program started. He said that the department has succeeded in achieving around 95% of the target. Mr. Mahajan told that according to the set targets, around 71% vaccination has been completed so far in the state. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Madhya Pradesh, over 5,93,000 healthcare and frontline workers have been vaccinated so far. More details from our Bhopal correspondent.
Highest vaccination yesterday reported at Ratlam district with 73% vaccination. Meanwhile, state reported 251 COVID-positive cases yesterday, while 243 patients recovered from infection. With one patient succumbing to the infection, the death toll increased to 3,842, while COVID positivity rate stands at 1.6%. 21 districts out of 52 recorded no new infections. 3 districts, including Bhind, Morena and Shivpuri, have no active cases in Madhya Pradesh. Pooja Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Meanwhile, COVID-19 vaccination is in full swing in Maharashtra. As per the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare's data, the state is on second position after Uttar Pradesh in terms of total number of doses being administered to the beneficiaries. Details from our Mumbai correspondent.
In Maharashtra, till date, around 5,75,000 healthcare workers and 1,86,000 frontline workers are vaccinated in state. Yesterday, around 36,000 beneficiaries were administered COVID-19 vaccines. On the other side, a rising number of new COVID-19 patients is a matter of concern for administration. Yesterday, 4,787 new patients are reported in the state. It is the highest single-day spike of last 70 days. Administration is again ensuring that COVID-appropriate behavior should be strictly followed at wedding, eateries, tourist places and public spaces. Strict penalties are being imposed on those breaking rules. Jeevan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
Talking to All India Radio, Dr. Rajesh Jaiswal, senior physician from Ranchi, appealed to people to get second dose of vaccine to ensure security from all infections of coronavirus. He said vaccines are safe and effective.
कोरोना से बचने का एकमात्र उपाय वैक्सीन है। कुछ नहीं होता है, कोई रिएक्शन नहीं होता है, सारी व्यवस्था है। और उसके बाद अभी तक मैंने 1 महीने में बहुत लोग आए, किसी को कोई रिएक्शन नहीं हुआ। मैं लोगों से निवेदन करूंगा, दावा करता हूं कि ये वैक्सीन का साइड इफेक्ट कुछ नहीं है और इसको आकर जरूर से लें, ताकि अपने परिवार और अपने समाज को कोरोना के फैलने से बचावें।
India will host a workshop on COVID-19 management, experience, good practices and way forward today. 10 countries, India, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, Mauritius, Nepal, Pakistan, Seychelles and Sri Lanka will participate in the workshop. Health Secretary of India will chair the event. Each country has been invited to participate in 1+1 format. The Health Secretary and head of their technical team in charge of COVID management. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sultan of Oman, Haitham bin Tariq, have agreed to maintain close cooperation in the joint fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Modi spoke with the Sultan of Oman yesterday. During a telephonic conversation, the Sultan expressed his appreciation for the COVID-19 vaccines supplied by India to Oman. The Prime Minister congratulated the Sultan on completion of 1 year of his reign and for his Vision 2040 for Oman. Both leaders also appreciated the role of the Indian diaspora in enhancing the economic and cultural ties between the two strategic partners. The Prime Minister will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of key projects of power and urban sector in Kerala tomorrow through video conferencing. He will inaugurate the 320 kV Pugalur-Thrissur power transmission project. The Prime Minister will also dedicate to the nation the 50 megawatt Kasaragod solar power project. It has been developed under the National Solar Energy Mission. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the convocation of Vishwa Bharati University tomorrow through video conferencing. A total of 2,535 students will receive their degrees during the ceremony. Vishwa Bharati was founded by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in 1921. It is the oldest central university in the country. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will flag off BJP's fifth and final phase of Parivartan Yatra in West Bengal today. Mr. Shah will flag off the Yatra from the Indira Maidan in Kakadweep in South 24 Parganas district. BJP's Parivartan Yatra is taking place in 5 phases in West Bengal, passing through all 294 assembly constituencies of the state. Mr. Shah will also visit the historic Bharat Sevashram Sangh in Kolkata today. Later, he will go to the Kapil Muni Ashram at Ganga Sagar. Union Home Minister will have lunch with the refugee family at the Narayanpur village. After lunch, a grand road show will be held from Kali Mandir to the SBI branch in Kakadweep. In the evening, he will go to the Aurobindo Bhavan. On the second day of his 2-day visit to the state tomorrow, Mr. Shah will pay tribute to the martyrs of West Bengal. Later, he will inaugurate an exhibition and flag off a cycle rally.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar hit out at senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi for talking about the need for a separate ministry for fisheries which already exists. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar said the Ministry of Fisheries is already working under the central government, but Rahul Gandhi does not know what is in India. Union Fisheries Minister Giriraj Singh reminded Rahul Gandhi that the ministry was established by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in May 2019.
इतने बड़े पार्टी का नेता उसे मालूम नहीं कि भारत के प्रधानमंत्री 2019 में एक अलग मंत्रालय बनाया फिशरी सेक्टर के लिए, पशुपालन के लिए और डेयरी के लिए, और उसके मंत्री के रूप में मुझे ओथ दिलाया। मैं काम कर रहा हूं, पुडुचेरी में काम चल रहा है, हर जगह पूरे देश में पहली बार। लेकिन मुझे दुख होता है कि राहुल गांधी भारत और किसानों को भ्रम में डालने का काम पूरे देश में कर रहे हैं।
Union Ministers Smriti Irani and Kiren Rijiju also criticized the former Congress president for his comments. Earlier, interacting with the fishermen community in Puducherry, Mr. Gandhi said the government must have a separate department to look into the issue of the fishermen community. In tennis, Serena Williams will face off Naomi Osaka of Japan this morning for a spot in the women's singles final of Australian Open. The match will be played on Rod Laver Arena at Melbourne Park. American Williams, who is seeking a record-tying 24th major singles championship, defeated second seed Simona Halep to sail into the last 4, while 3-time Grand Slam champion Osaka overpowered Chinese Taipei's Shi Sung-wei in the quarterfinals. In the other semi-final, 22nd seed Jennifer Brady of United States will take on Karolina Machova of Czech Republic, with both aiming to reach a Grand Slam final for the first time. 25th seed Machova produced a shock when she knocked out world number 1 and home favourite Ashley Barty, while Jennifer defeated fellow American Jessica Pegula in the last round. In the men's singles semi-finals, 8-time winner Novak Djokovic will take on world number 114 Aslan Kartasev today. The 27-year-old Russian qualifier Kartasev defeated 18th-seeded Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria in the quarter-finals. He became the first man in the professional era to reach the semi-finals of his first major tennis tournament. On the other hand, Djokovic crushed Germany's Alexander Zverev to reach his 39th Grand Slam semi-final. In another shocker, world number 2 Rafael Nadal's bid for a record 21st Grand Slam title came crashing to a halt yesterday after losing to Greek fifth seed Stefanos Tsitsipas 3-6, 2-6, 7-6, 6-4, 7-5 in the quarterfinals. Tsitsipas will face Russia's Daniil Medvedev in semi-finals tomorrow.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi witnessed moderate fog in some areas. The minimum temperature was 12 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be 29 degrees. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky with temperature varying from 22 to 29 degrees Celsius. Chennai may experience partly cloudy sky in the day, with minimum temperature 21 degrees Celsius in the metro. The maximum will be around 32 degrees. Kolkata, with generally cloudy sky, may experience light rain. The city witnessed 20 degrees Celsius of minimum temperature, while maximum will be 29 degrees. Srinagar, Jammu, Leh, Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the upper limit of temperature will be 17 degrees Celsius, while Jammu will have maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. In Leh, the minimum temperature was minus 10 degrees Celsius and maximum will be just 6 degrees. In Gilgit, temperature will hover between minus 1 and 20 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have temperature between 8 and 25 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the maximum temperature will be 26 degrees. The city is likely to have a partly cloudy sky towards the afternoon or evening. Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawar Chand Gehlot has said the central government is fully committed to the welfare of Divyangjan of the country. The minister was speaking after virtually releasing the third edition of the Indian Sign Language Dictionary, having 10,000 terms. Applauding the efforts of the Indian Sign Language Research and Training Centre, Mr. Gehlot said several new initiatives have been taken by the government and new schemes have been launched for the Divyangjan during the past 7 years. The new dictionary contains 10,000 terms of everyday use, including academic, legal, administrative, medical, technical and agricultural terms. The dictionary also contains regional signs used in different parts of the country.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Different papers carry stories on a wide range of issues today. Court acquits Priya Ramani in defamation case filed by MG Akbar, writes the Hindustan Times, while the Pioneer headlines Ramani absolved of Akbar's defamation. Shah takes poll battle to Didi nephew's stronghold, writes the Asian Age, while the Pioneer reports Modi Shah Didi to raise political pitch in Bengal. The Pioneer also carries the top headline related to the vaccination. The paper says, jab in open market likely by year-end. A box item also says, India announces gift of 2 lakh COVID doses for UN peacekeepers. Papers also notice the rescue operations in Uttarakhand. Rescue ops hampered by waterlogging in Tapovan tunnel, reports the Tribune. And finally, good news for lovers of the yellow metal. The Hindu Business Line writes, gold prices dipped to 8-month low on weak global trends. So all up and ready to dazzle?
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi to launch Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative and several development projects in Assam today. Civil Aviation Ministry issues fresh guidelines for international passengers arriving in India. India supplied corona vaccines to 25 countries, 49 more nations in line for Made in India vaccines. Foreign ministers of India, Australia, Japan and US to meet today to discuss free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. And in Australian Open tennis, women's and men's singles semi-final matches to take place this morning. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.